Well, we want to read Mendelssohn together. I think before I read it, though, I just want to take a look at this. From what I just heard from you people, you don't have this letter to Lavatar. So I'll just read this letter to Lavatar to you, at least some excerpts from it, because it's illustrative of his way of thinking, and I think it also is a clear description of Mendelssohn's thinking in key areas. Then we can go back and look through his actual philosophical text. Jerusalem is a philosophical text, which is actually a work of the Enlightenment. It's a John Locke type text, and I think Mendelssohn even shows some awareness of the American Revolution that's going on in that text. He's writing it around the time of the American Revolution. This Lavatar was a Christian minister who had been a friend and intimate with Mendelssohn. And he had challenged Mendelssohn. Mendelssohn kept company in all the salons of Berlin, all the modern salons. You see, in this period, as I tried to explain in the, when we were just looking at the Eisenman material, the whole region, you want to say, all of Central Europe, I suppose, extends up into places like Denmark, over into Holland. I'm not so sure what France was thinking, but I'm sure the French Revolution had a lot of this being considered, discussed. But I think more so in the Protestant areas than because the Catholic areas, you're still dealing with the grip of the organized church, which is a very strong grip. So I think places like England, Northern Europe, and so on were more susceptible to this than, let us say, France, which has, though Paris is a very avant-garde sort of place, France can be certainly very conservative in other areas. So a lot has to do with the Reformation, the Renaissance, and things growing out of that period. So this period then was known as the Enlightenment, where you had this new thinking. A lot of it was based on the idea of natural religion. Natural religion. And that gave, that was considered religion discoverable by the process or use of reason. That if it was in, we don't mean natural in the sense that we're talking about, oh, that's a natural person. We mean it's in nature. It's discoverable through observing nature, just like the laws of physics are discoverable by observing nature or the natural surroundings. So that you can bring your reason to bear on your environment, you should be able to discover certain principles. Out of this idea comes the whole development of the notion of natural rights, natural law. That there were certain unalienable rights, natural rights that every man had. It's in the American Declaration of Independence, presented by thinkers, particularly Jefferson and Franklin and people of that kind, who were already being influenced by this kind of thinking in Europe. That every man had certain unalienable rights. There's a large precursor to the modern age, as you know, which again has to do with this Islamic debate that we're dealing with now. I mean, this is a very difficult situation, as I said, because they're not willing to go through what's necessary to come into the modern age, but they have all the accoutrements of the modern age that can be purchased. They can use the Western civilization. I mean, the way I mean by that, the way the West works against itself, because of the Achilles heel of the economy and the oil flow. So countries that are not sophisticated or avant-garde, intellectually speaking, can, because of the control of natural resources, can use the economic weapon against the very countries that have produced these things. It's a very, very frightening situation. I can't even communicate to you how much it frightens me, but I think I've done that in many classes so far. So if I'm so bugged about it, and I'm 60 some odd years old, you can imagine how frightening I perceive it as being, and how the average person isn't frightened as far as I can see. But it is a terribly frightening situation to be in, what we faced. Other situations, you could, draft a 20 million man army and fight. But I don't know if that's possible to do with this situation at the moment. In any case, the West then had this huge precursor in these kinds of philosophies after the basic separation of church and state, which it came to be called, which Mendelssohn was going to be writing about. So one of the fundamental principles was natural religion, natural law, natural rights. All these should be discoverable through reason. And then out of that's what natural as opposed to supernatural. What's supernatural religion in this context, let's say? Revealed religion. Revelation. Yeah, revelation, revealed religion. They say the whole Middle Ages prior to that, the scholastic synthesis. People like Aquinas, but they were basing their thinking on Maimonides. And Arab thinkers like Al-Farabi and Averroes and people like that, Ibn Rushd, were talking about the harmony of philosophy and religion. That, and you'll see Mendelssohn still is gripped by that kind of thinking. That all philosophy does is discover the truths of religion in a longer process, whereas revealed religion just gives the truth immediately to the people. But that should be discoverable by reason. There shouldn't be any conflict between reason and religion. That was called the scholastic synthesis. How many are familiar with that? That's what was going on in the Middle Ages.